We should actually separate the idea of Hollywood Harry from a man who ultimately lost his mother. And that woman was lost as a result of having her security reduced. Now, granted, she opted for that security reduction, but the fact is, we're not talking about irrational fear. A man lost his mother. And for me, I actually feel quite sorry for Harry. There's sort of the media portray him as some kind of strange traitor.
Well, just look at the Sun front page here. This is their front page. It says, moan alone. That's their take on it. Yeah, well, I mean, he's had a running battle with them, obviously.
Well, the thing is, what I would say to that, though, is can you imagine if we walked into this studio and we read a headline that says, Prince Harry killed? The first question would be, well, what type of security do you have? What was put in place? And that would be retrospective, hindsight being 2020. Well, this is an opportunity not to do that, to ensure that doesn't happen.
But if you want to keep your family safe and you know the history of that, which is horrendous, why would you make such a thing of, I want to disband, I want to leave, I want to separate myself,
or indeed
knowing the
go around
ramifications?
saying you've killed 25 Taliban, which is probably the biggest single thing that's caused him to be at risk. To boast about killing members of the Taliban.
Why would you do these things, exactly?
OK, well, so there are two elements of the royal family. There is the family, who literally exists, and then there's an idea. He can only separate himself from an idea. He's still Harry Windsor. He's still the son of Charles. He's still the brother of William. He can never remove himself from that. Those are the facts, and facts are shields that win a ding, as they say. And so for me, that family's complex.
But their intel is probably second to none. If there is a threat, I think that they would then provide that bespoke service if needed, if required, for certain events.
And therein lies the issue. So he's actually willing to pay for it, but they've basically said...
I didn't know that, because I wasn't aware Metropolitan Police were up for hire, because I've got, you know...
And that's the problem.
And that's why I said it will set a dangerous precedent. Can we just call up the Met if you have the money?
So you can't, but the crucial part of it is that his current security unit do not have access to the MI5 database, the Home Office database, so they're going in
I'm kind of glad for that.
Well, I'm kind of glad for that too,
but Why should they have access?
Let's think about it from Radzi's point of view. He is running a script that would have saved his mother's life. That's what's going on. So he leaves the royal family, which would have saved her life. He then attacks them from a distance and called them racists and whatnot. I guess that satisfied him. He then says, I want proper protection. That would have saved her life. Everything he does is, I think, in a way, trying to bring his mum back to life, and it's tragic.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever time you are watching from. Welcome to the channel. Let's take a moment, strip away the crowns, the palaces, the tabloid chaos, and ask ourselves something very simple. What is the value of a human life? Because on a recent episode of The Jeremy Vine Show, during a heated panel discussion, Radzi Chinyanganya asked the one question nobody else wanted to ask. What if we walked into the studio today and saw the headline, Prince Harry killed? God forbid. That wasn't just a dramatic soundbite. That was reality breaking through the noise. And let's be very clear, Radzi wasn't overreacting. He wasn't being sentimental. He was doing what everyone else seemed too afraid or too indifferent to do. He was telling the truth. For too long, Prince Harry's concerns about his safety have been brushed off. Critics say, let him moan. They roll their eyes. They dismiss it as just another tantrum from someone they claim wants attention. And Radzi called that out. He slammed it. Because calling it moaning is lazy. It's dangerous. It ignores the fact that Harry is someone who served in Afghanistan, who's been under intense public scrutiny since he was a child, who's been the target of real threats, especially since he married Meghan. He didn't ask for free favors. He offered to pay for his security. He's not asking to be treated like a prince. He's asking to be treated like a human being who has a legitimate reason to feel unsafe. And Radzi reminded us of something so many people forget. Harry may have stepped back from royal duties, but he didn't stop being Harry Windsor. He's still Prince William's brother. He's still King Charles's son. That blood doesn't wash off with a press release. That history doesn't disappear because of a royal exit. And that's the heart of Radzi's argument. He's not saying Harry deserves security because he's royal. He's saying Harry deserves security because he's family. Imagine if tragedy struck, if Harry were harmed, and the world found out he'd been denied the very protection he asked for. What then? Would people still say he brought it on himself? Would the critics still be smug? Still saying he moaned too much? No, they'd be furious. They'd be devastated. They'd be wondering how we all let this happen. That's what Radzi was getting at. He had the courage to say what needed to be said before the headlines turned tragic. It takes guts to say that in front of cameras, especially when the dominant narrative is to bash Harry and call him ungrateful. But Radzi rose above that. He saw the bigger picture. He saw the man behind the headlines, the father, the husband, the brother, the son. And he asked us all, are we really okay with pretending he's not worth protecting? This isn't about royal drama. It's about responsibility. It's about basic decency. Radzi's words were a call to do better, to think beyond gossip and bitterness, and remember that at the core of this story is a family, a man, and real-world consequences. So let's stop dismissing Harry's warnings as moaning. Let's stop pretending he's just another celebrity seeking attention. Radzi saw the truth, that this is a man fighting not for privilege, but for protection. Because if Prince Harry ends up in danger, if something happens and we stayed silent, we're all complicit. Security for public figures is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Public figures, especially those who have been in the limelight since childhood, face unique challenges and threats. Ensuring their safety is a matter of public responsibility. These individuals, despite their fame and fortune, are human beings with families, emotions, and vulnerabilities. By acknowledging the importance of their security, we recognize their right to live without fear. This is not about giving them special treatment, but about safeguarding their basic human rights. Let's remember that behind the headlines and the public persona, there's a real person who deserves protection and respect just like anyone else. As members of the public, we have a role to play in ensuring the safety of public figures. This means being vigilant, supportive, and understanding the unique pressures they face. It's about creating a safer environment for everyone. When we acknowledge their struggles and vulnerabilities, we contribute to a culture of empathy and respect. We must remember that our actions, words, and attitudes can either uplift or endanger those in the spotlight. By choosing to be compassionate and considerate, we help build a world where everyone, regardless of their public status, can feel secure and valued. Ignoring safety concerns can have dire consequences. History has shown us that when we fail to protect those in the public eye, the results can be tragic. From the loss of beloved celebrities to political figures, the impact of our negligence is felt deeply. It's a reminder that we must take these concerns seriously and act accordingly. We cannot afford to be passive observers. Each one of us has the power to make a difference, to advocate for better measures, and to demand accountability. When we recognize the gravity of these issues, we acknowledge our shared responsibility in preventing future tragedies.